Gaurav, thank you so much for coming to Money Matters. Very excited to be talking to you.
Thanks for calling me. I think this is the second time in 2 weeks that we are doing this again.
Just for everyone's benefit, in 2010, you started a YouTube channel, which was education and learning, but officially as a company, you started an academy in 2015. And what a remarkable journey, though we shouldn't be, it is Money Matters, so I can take the liberty of saying some things that from money perspective, from a journey, from external validation, one of the things that you have, got and a great endorsement is a great set of investors. And very quickly from 2015 to now in 2020, you have a company which is $500 million, if I may say so, in valuation, more than $500 million in a very short span of time. So congratulations. We're going to be talking a lot of about all these things and how do you scale and grow a company. But before everything, Gaurav, I want to talk to you about the edtech space, because today Manish Tabarwal was here in Money Matters, and he was saying that what was supposed to happen in 2030 when it comes to education has got accelerated, and now we are seeing that kind of growth happening in 2020. You are right in the trenches, building a very fabulous, strong edtech company. Tell us, what are you seeing?
I don't know who Manish is, so I don't know what context he has, but I disagree because what I have my data, what we were seeing before COVID-19. We launched a subscription product for online classes for test prep market almost 1 year, 3 months back. And before COVID, we had hit a 36 million ARR. This is before COVID. So, and people are, and this is without an offline sales team. People are paying online. People are consuming content online. There are millions and millions of watch time every single day. What has happened now is that, like, obviously we have grown 3x since then, and we are almost at like an 80 to 100 million ARR now. This is the first time I'm quoting these numbers. So,
thank you. In Money Matters, we need all the numbers. Thank you. Continue, please.
So what's happening now is that what we have seen is that probably what would have taken 6 months has happened in 2 months or 1 month or something.
Okay.
But I don't believe it's 2030. I think even if COVID-19 had not come, we would have reached where we have reached in maybe 4 to 5 months or 6 months, because we were already seeing that trajectory. People were already realizing, because of Reliance Jio, because of accessibility of smartphones and internet and the YouTube penetration. I think we have to give a lot of credit to YouTube. I think YouTube changed the way Indians consume content. There are more searches on YouTube than are on Google today. So I think, and if you see the data of YouTube, I think we all benefited from that, and I think YouTube was one of our biggest traction channels. In fact, we started as a YouTube channel, so we'll have to give it to them. But yeah, I don't believe कि 2030 में ये होता, but I do believe कि बहुत सारी चीजें and one interesting thing about apart from traction is that suddenly it has become very clear that this is it. Suddenly it has become very clear that this is the category that will grow a lot. So I'm seeing more and more early stage education startups raising funding. There is a lot more investor interest than it used to be for this category. And another interesting thing is that, and I can say it on record, the biggest consumer internet company in India will not be an e-commerce company. It will be an education company. I can give this in writing. India is a market which pays for high quality education. The biggest consumer internet company will be an education company. It will not be an e-commerce company.
Now that's a big statement, right? Because right now for us, internet consumption has been e-commerce.
See, you have to see the unit economics. You have to see the gross margins. The education businesses have a very, very high gross margin. They have very, very solid unit economics. They don't need a lot of, so you don't, every other education company is a very highly profitable company. So you can build a highly profitable, highly scalable company. I mean, some of our competitors will soon be valued over $10 billion.
Yeah.
So what's happening is that I am very, very, very convinced, not just because of my conviction, my personal conviction, but seeing this space, seeing the speed of growth of not just us, but other players in the market, seeing how gross margins or margins of education companies are versus, let's say, e-commerce companies or some other companies, and just the propensity of the target audience to spend on education. So
Yeah, yeah. So if I could request you to share some numbers with us, right? Like, what's the usage, and maybe it's not a big delta, or I don't know how big the delta is, but pre-COVID and now, what's the change in the numbers on in some key metrics that you've seen?
everything is 3x in
Oh,
3
really? Yeah,
every
interesting.
whether it's our free video views on YouTube, whether it's our free content on our own platform, uh, hopefully whether it's our valuation, we'll give it another 30 days, but but revenue obviously. So yeah.
Okay. And we during COVID times, one of the interesting things was to see Virat Kohli and Anushka Sharma also coming and teaching, right? So does that help at a to attract a large set of audience?
It helps a lot because what it does is that that class had 50,000 concurrent learners,
Oh, really? Wow.
and people were watching that live. So so when you do something like that and you have 50,000 other people watching it, it builds a conviction in live learning, and it also builds a see. I can say this on record: our product is 10x better than anything else out there, and like we have built a product in a way that we will be compared to uh, other products in the world with the kind of quality of user experience and kind of quality of user interface, etc. we have. uh,
Hmm.
Nobody in India stands a chance. And when such stuff happens, it also positions us as the go-to live learning platform. So it helps the brand because we are that platform. We are the largest live learning platform. And when you see somebody like Virat Kohli and Anushka Sharma or Shashi Tharoor, and there are some very, very exciting names coming up in the coming weeks. I will not name them, but very, very exciting. And I'm sure one of those talks you will also watch
Oh,
because
really?
it's one of the most iconic founders of a US company, which is $100 billion plus company. I won't give more details, but some exciting talks are coming through in a series called Legends at Unacademy.
Okay. And they will be taking live classes.
Yes.
Now that you're saying that there is a 3x growth, I want to and take this opportunity to understand from you the whole edtech space as you are seeing. You've been in it since 2010, very early on, and I know how involved and passionate you've been about the space and about learning. But now, since 2015 to now, how are you seeing it evolve? And if you had to say, what are going to be the key drivers for big growth in the coming 2-3 years?
See what we are seeing is that people are much more savvy to live learning than recorded content. For the
Hmm.
first 3 years, an academy was a recorded videos platform, and when we posted live, we saw much higher engagements because what see the single biggest difference that can happen through technology is that right now quality education was limited to a few cities. So
Hmm.
if you are in Delhi, you can go to St. Stephen's. If you are in Kota, you can go to this coaching center of IIT. Or if you want to be a CA, then this coaching center in this part of the country is good. What has happened now is that and that's a privilege so far because you need money to go there, you need money to live, etc. So you need to have certain kind of uh, uh, you need to have certain kind of net worth to go there. So and that's a privilege for let's say it's a privilege that many in the country cannot afford. But now you bring that kind of experience to your $100 smartphone now, and I'm not even talking about our market. I'm talking about every market. I'm talking about K-12. I'm talking about upskilling. I'm even talking about, for example, I was just seeing that Your Story has launched an entrepreneurship course.
Hmm.
So the idea is that now the entrepreneur does not need to come to Bangalore
Yeah.
and chase entrepreneurs to get a coffee meeting and learn stuff from them.
Yeah.
If they really want to learn something, the content is available online. So I think that's the power because in the franchisee model, you can have the McDonald's burger can taste same whether you eat in Delhi, Mumbai, or New York. But in education, what happens is the quality of teachers is very, very different. So you cannot scale the same type of quality which online does.
Yeah.
So what my belief is that it's actually significantly better. COVID just opened everyone's eyes and said, "Oh, when they actually tried, when they actually went for a Virat Kohli class and then saw the other stuff, they stayed on the platform and they saw this is actually better." I mean, there are obviously few cons, like you don't get that competitive environment and stuff like that, which we need to build. But I think, yeah, I think what will happen.
Gaurav, but I want to ask you this because, and I want to ask you this because today you, people like you and entrepreneurs like you, and especially you that I know you, are going to define the way the access of education, right? You are anyways doing, like you said, through online. Today you can learn from Virat Kohli or whoever for that matter, right? Which you couldn't do from a small town. So you are solving that problem. But let's, but they're
Access, convenience, and affordability.
yeah, okay. But so there I want to ask, like right now, one of the statistics that has come out is, right, like during this COVID time, is that we say that, oh, we have electricity everywhere, but there, most places, like, and it's very significantly large places get electricity for 1 hour. People don't have the access to, laptops or phones with that kind of connectivity. So there is a huge divide. And somewhere I want to ask, and it all also then boils down to the affordability, because today education is, like you're saying, it's profitable, but it's priced at a very high price point. How are you going to solve? Are you thinking about these things, like while you are building a highly valuable business?
See, there are two different approaches to this question. One is that uh, building an efficient system, assuming the current infrastructure,
Yeah.
and the other is like जहाँ पे infrastructure है ही नहीं उधर क्या करें. So I'm not talking about that
और
part.
affordability की भी बात कर रही हूँ.
Yes. For example, if you go, and I'm talking about our product, and then I'll talk about some other
Yeah,
product.
yeah.
I will also talk about how some other competitors have gotten pricing wrong.
And I also want I want to get out of your mind how you think about this, more importantly, like, because
If you go to Kota to prepare for IIT JEE, a good coaching institute charges you 1.2 lakh per annum. And then you can assume another 1.5 lakhs for living, food, etc. So let's take it on the safer side. Let's just say another 1 lakh, which is the minimum that you'll need to spend. You'll travel also, etc. So because 6,000, 7,000 rupees for your PG, and maybe you are spending 3,000 rupees per month for your food, etc., etc. That's 2.25 lakh per annum for coaching per year. At an academy, it costs 30,000 rupees, and you get everything, and you get it better. And that is significantly lower. So what we are, 80% of our user base is tier 2, tier 3 and above.
Okay.
The people who do not even have access, the people who do not even who can't afford such expensive coaching, they are doing.
Oh, okay.
And I can predict it right now. What will happen is the importance of colleges will reduce. The importance of degrees will reduce. The importance of learning skill set will go up, because suddenly people will realize that you don't, at the end of the day, for colleges, you are paying just a very, very high sum of amount to get that degree, to get that, validation, to buy insurance.
Yeah.
See, institutions, colleges are an insurance business. At the end of the day, you are buying insurance, and that helps you get a job or whatever. So, but we are seeing startups like Scalar Academy or Newton School, etc., which are saying that we'll make you better coders and help you get a job, and then it doesn't matter what college you are from.
Yeah.
So because of online learning, that kind of stuff will happen, where skin in the game will come. Right now, colleges do not have a skin in the game.
Yeah.
If somebody is training me and they have a skin in the game with my outcome, then suddenly the whole system becomes more efficient.
Yeah.
If you are, let's say you are running, and I think you should do it as an experiment. You are running an entrepreneurship school.
Yeah.
Run a different kind of a school where you also charge 5% equity, but then you have Y Combinator. So, so what you are doing in the form of a school, Y Combinator is nothing but school with skin in the game.
Yeah.
And that's such an efficient system with what Surge is doing or what Y Combinator is doing. At the end of the day, they are teaching you or coaching you to be better. So what Surge or Y Combinator has done, that will happen for everything, like how that has happened for entrepreneurship.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So basically, what you are saying is, so one question I see very clearly addressed is that whatever the price point which exists in the country, uh, uh, at your platform at least, and we can of course discuss others, but at your platform at least, 80% of the people are coming from tier two, tier three, and beyond, and it is significantly lower priced, right?
Significantly.
There's significantly lower price where it's not pinching you to pay and to learn.
Yeah, I mean, you pay 1,000 rupees if two people are going to watch a movie. That's 1,000 rupees per movie. But Netflix, you pay 500 rupees a month for whatever you want to watch. It happens through because I see the best coaching center, the largest coaching center of the country, has 2.2 lakh students.
Huh,
They have taken 30 years to reach that. They have 2.2 lakh active students every year.
huh.
We at this second have 1,40,000, and we have taken 14 months to reach here. So we are also dealing with economies of scale. So because I have much more scale, my margins are better. I can charge a much lower price point because that's what internet does. That's why I see some of the competitors get the pricing wrong. It's an open advice to them. Please be smart about it. Don't charge so much for your products, because you need to understand that you are not making your coaching center from offline to online. It's a new territory.
Yeah. Thank you, Gaurav Munjal, for that advice to your competitors. But coming back on, yeah, but again, another question. Do you think that this is going to, like, how much of this will stay? Because you said 3x growth, and you said that you did it in a month or two, but it would have anyways happened 6 months down the line. But asking about, they will, how do you see it? And you're a young boy, so just tell me, how do you see it changing? Because even if you look at the most mature of economies, there's always been a play of offline, right? In spite of very advanced digital economy and everything, there's been an offline play always. So do you see that once the COVID is over, people will want to go to offline and want to do education and learning and stuff offline also?
My belief is that it will reduce. I don't think that it will stop completely.
Huh.
But I also think that people should assume that everything is online, because then only they will be able to build better products.
Yeah.
Right now, people are just seeing this phase as a temporary phase, so they are using Zoom, etc. What we have done is that we have realized that the user experience is significantly better. The NPS is significantly better right now. In an offline institute, the teacher you get in Indore versus teacher you get in Kota is very, very different. So these institutes are opening up in tier 2, tier 3 cities, but quality is not maintained. People do want to study from the very best teachers of the country, and that's
Yeah.
what we have seen.
Yeah. So, Gaurav, I want to, because An Academy has suddenly come and created such a brand and name for itself in the edtech space, and you've done a phenomenal job. And I want to go on record to say that, from day one, when I've seen that you have a very product-driven mindset, and you've never compromised when it comes to building the product the right way, right? Just take us through some of the learnings and some of the right things you've done while building your business.
See, I think the biggest unconventional advice is that I think Sachin and Binny are investors. So there was a meeting that we got with Binny, and I asked him a question that, hey, we are raising so much money, we are diluting ourselves. So he said that, you decide whether you want to optimize your personal equity or founder's equity, or you want to optimize the impact that you will create. And I think after that day, um, we just started focusing on the impact that we are creating, because I think personal wealth will come. You just focus on doing something bigger and bigger and bigger. You will get rewarded. So I think that mindset changed everything for us. And what we did was we raised capital before we needed. So we have always had a 30 to 40-month runway. Even today, we have a 40-month runway. Um,
Um,
yeah. So what helps us is that when you remove capital, when you remove the worry of capital, you can be so creative. so creative. And obviously, I mean, you have to dilute more. So technically, that's also like buying insurance. So you're raising, but and what we realized was that because the fear of money running out was never there, and we were not burning a lot of money like throughout our history. We have raised around $200 million. 150 million is still in the bank. So uh, I think that's one unconventional advice that, and in times like these, that thing has proven to be very very well for us. Like
Yeah.
we are not at all worried. Uh, uh, in fact, we gave additional bonuses to our educators and employees because we were growing, and we must share that with our team
Yeah.
members. We still went ahead with appraisal cycles, etc. So I think that's one unconventional advice, that you try to remove one or two big worries, like solve them permanently, so that you can focus on rest of the things. So I think we
Yeah.
solved one or two big worries in the beginning. Then we were able to focus on product. Then we were able to focus on other things, etc. And
I want to ask you, you didn't start as live, no? And today, one of the biggest things that's worked for you is the live sessions that you do. How did that learning come in the journey? What were some of the insights that made you take that decision?
I think it was one of my investors, Shailendra Singh from Sequoia, and I were having dinner, and then he's like, this is going on in China. Why don't you experiment it? And then we experimented it, and few months later, we were sitting and we were like, he told me that he just came up with a random idea that right now you're selling different courses. For example, if Shraddha is taking an economics class, then you're selling it and she takes a 60% cut or whatever. So it's a marketplace model. But students need the entire package. They want to study from all teachers. They want that option. They want that buffet model. So he suggested that. At first I found it weird because I thought, okay, nobody else has done it. And even in China, nobody else had done the subscription model. We were the first ones to do it. But I pondered over it for 2 weeks. I think 11th December 2018 is when the dinner happened. And maybe around 26th is when we took the call that we'll build it. End of December, I sent a mail to all investors that for next 2 months, we'll do zero revenue because we are taking a very, very bold bet. We are completely pivoting to subscription model. And December 2018 was our highest revenue month in the previous model. But somehow I couldn't see it scaling. I knew it will scale a point, but the ceiling will come very soon. In 29 to 30 days, we launched the subscription. The teams worked very, very hard. 30th January 2019 is when the subscription went live. Feb 2019 revenues were around 2 crores. And this month we'll probably cross 60 crores. So yeah.
One of the things I'm just.
And you are making me reveal numbers like I've never revealed before. So
Don't say that you're doing a favor on me, but Munjal, when you achieve success, then you have to share. You have to share, right? And I
no,
think
that's what
I'm
I'm
doing
doing.
that.
I'm not giving some random gyan. I'm telling people that I'm giving
Yeah,
some unconventional advice that a lot of people might disagree with me. A lot of people might say that optimize for equity, or a lot of people might disagree. But we have also pivoted. We have taken some bold bets. I mean, it could have been very well that it didn't work out, but we at least took the bold bet.
yeah,
The downside was that we lose revenue for 2 months, but
yeah,
the upside was that if it works, if you protect the downside, let's say the downside harms the company by 20%, worst case. If you protect the downside, but your upside can 10x, 20x, or even 100x. So, I mean, like, I think I mentioned it in our previous session also. There is a quote by Jeff Bezos that in baseball, when you hit a home run, you get 4 runs or whatever. I don't follow. Or like in cricket, when you put a six, it's 6 runs. But in business, sometimes if you put like a home run or something like that, then even maybe you can get 600 runs because some of the bold bets might pay off so massively that
yeah.
it makes any.
Compounding effect of that, right, will be like crazy. Uh, so while you are, and then this is for me to process. While you are saying this one, there are one or two key things that I'm taking away. One is that you took care of, what could be in your mind was like, and for every entrepreneur would be, let's take care of cash, let's take care of capital. So you took that care early on because you knew that this will worry you, this could come as a problem, so you got that. Second thing is that you were bold enough, and that one has to give credit to the entrepreneur, you were bold enough to take extremely unconventional decisions, because like, oh, you'll park with more equity than necessary. You also were ready to forego 2 months of revenue. You were also, because when you're jumping to something new, it might not work. Yes. But you took those decisions. So to my question which I asked you is that, what do you see are things that made you successful and get here so fast? I think these are the 2 3 things that I'm taking away. But I also now want to ask you about the product that you built, because one of the things is that, and you are very proud about the product that you built. Tell us, how is it different? Because today, if, like, and you went earlier only in this interview, you have said that nobody can build for many years something that you built. So tell us what you built and how you built it.
There is a famous line in Harry Potter Part 2. I cannot tell you, but I can show you.
To show me, show us all, we all want to see.
So, at the end of the day, basically Unacademy is a product which is sort of like a subscription. So let's say you're preparing for IIT JEE, because I think everybody is aware about these exams. What are the biggest problems so one of the things to ask yourself is, what is the current solution? Before this, the solution was that you were going to an institute. There they will make you give a test, and if you are good, you will get a nice batch, an A1 batch, and you will get access to the best teachers. But if you're not so good, then you will get access to not so good teachers. And this is across the country where the quality is not consistent, and you get those 3 teachers, and in 95% of the cases, you cannot choose the teachers that you get. So there is already a selection bias that अगर आपके 10th में अच्छे marks आए थे, तो आपको अच्छा teacher मिल जाएगा for your preparation. So that selection bias is already happening. So what we did was that we sort of launched a subscription model where we said that you can study from anyone. We'll get you the best teachers. And this is not a supplemental product. This is a replacement product. You get access to everything. You go there, you get hundreds of teachers, you get the entire syllabus, you get a proper test series, proper tests are happening. And do you know that last month we had 120,000 live classes happen on the platform? 120,000 live classes by different teachers. And 120,000
live classes.
So for example, this is a live class going on right now, where it's a doubt clearing session where the teacher is teaching live and clearing a doubt.
Interesting.
And at this very second, there might be 500 classes going on in different subjects. So, and some of the, for example, whether it's CAT, whether it's any other category, if you go into this class, people who are preparing for CAT, she's one of the top teachers of CAT in the country. She's teaching.
When we talk about the analysis or the critic as a point here, this does not end with one generation. As it is saying, no age.
We built a very seamless experience for everyone to just come online and experience a live session.
Yes.
But there are many others in the market also who are doing similar.
I have no idea. Nobody can be similar to us.
I'm just waiting for some one-liners. Yes, tell me. Nobody can be?
It's okay.
Nobody can be what?
No, I think I think humility is a trait that we should all have.
No, but I'm just saying that, because maybe this worked for you, and that's why we are seeing a lot of players now, right? Emphasizing.
No, and see, I respect what others are doing, because they are, at the end of the day, they are opening up the market, they are expanding the market. And my fundamental belief is that it's significantly better than the alternatives. Yeah. So where you don't have electricity, and for the people who don't have smartphones, I think the government will come up with solutions, and we'll together eventually solve that problem also. But right now, for the people who have smartphones and the people who are in these tier 2, tier 3 cities who cannot afford this very expensive form of coaching, I think the products that the online players are building are very, very essential and good for them.
Yeah. Gaurav, now that we're talking about the product and yeah, because I've heard this, and I'm just telling you because I've heard it from so many people that an academy really has very good experience and very good product, and I know how focused you are on this. But I have to bring this today, now that we are talking the recent news, right, which was all over the place, is that there was a hack that, and data was leaked. Tell us how that happened, and I know how focused you are on this. How did this happen?
See, a few things that I must clarify that yes, the information was leaked, information like name and email IDs, etc. But financial information, passwords, etc., they were not leaked. We have been successful in making sure that that data is taken out of dark web. But I think this was a miss from our end. We are building systems now to ensure that something like this doesn't happen. Internally, we have within the last 48 hours, my co-founder and CTO Himesh has been working on this. They have hired information security officer, etc. We take this very, very seriously, and we will not let our customers and educators down in the future. And this is like a huge learning lesson for us. And having said that, I should also put it out there that no confidential information has been uh, compromised. But this has been a miss from our end, and we are doing everything we can to make sure that it doesn't happen again.
No, but you don't have to say it's a miss from your end, because I know how focused and how you have been crazy. Like you're another extreme of taking care, but it happens. But what has been one key learning, because this is important for all of us, my company, all of us, we all have so much of data and information. What to do, like how to prevent something like this
So
happening? Can you please?
the same group of hackers in the last 1 week hacked 4 sites. Lesson for all of us is that while you are growing, maybe there is a stage to move fast and break things. I think we have moved past that stage. I think now we need to build systems. We need to build stronger systems, and we need to ensure that uh, uh, from all angles we are taking care, and it's not just about growth.
Yeah.
Because a lot of students rely on an academy as their primary source of coaching,
Yeah.
not as their secondary course of coaching. So we are making some significant changes to ensure that this doesn't happen again.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now I want to take you back to a completely different topic. And this is for everyone who's watching and who will be watching this, is what are some of the opportunities that you're really seeing is up for grabs to build large businesses in edtech space, and one you are not going after yourself? So tell us the areas you are going after.
I can give some very crazy ideas which will be very, very big, which
Yeah.
people must focus on. And if somebody does, please mail me. I would be happily. I would invest. I think one is sort of like an urban club for digital services. So how Urban Club built, whether you need a haircut or whether you need a plumber, standardized services. I think for online, you'll need a few standardized services. For example, if you need a dietitian who can quickly do a video call with you, or you need a fitness trainer who can do a video call with you, or maybe you need a life coach also who can
Yeah.
motivate you in certain sense and stuff like that. You need a psychiatrist. You need somebody to help you improve your communication skills, or you need somebody to help you learn a language. So you need to figure out, or maybe even a stylist,
Yeah.
maybe even a stylist. So these these digital services on Zoom or whatever online platform they are standardized. So I know, like I think Urban Clap has done a great job. It's one of the companies that I really like, and they've done a phenomenal job in making sure that all their services are 9 on 10. It's very, very standardized, very high quality. So I think that's one big opportunity. And the other thing is that I'm a very big believer that there will be an Amazon for digital products, where every product is sold digitally. There is no offline component to it. There is no physical component to it. So all these are subset of that problems. I have also made a recent angel investment. I think it will be announced tomorrow. It is also a subset of that problem. So I think anything where um, you can enable people to sell digital stuff. For example, whether it's an organization like your story or an individual, and they want to create something and sell it. We were already seeing some of these examples, but nobody has done it in like a massive way. So I think this is something that people should focus on. In education, there are a lot of areas that engineering students in the country do nothing for 4 years. They don't do anything. I mean, such massive human potential. If you can figure out a way to do something for them, such massive potential. If you can make sure that, see, except the top 5% engineering colleges, most colleges are. I mean, some of the colleges, people go in the first year, they're doing computer science. At the end of fourth year, they cannot write a Hello World program. So it's broken at that level, and people pass the exam. It has become like a place you go to party with your friends and to smoke up and to chill, etc., etc. So can you utilize that human potential? Those people, if you empower them, if you give a product to them through which they can learn, they can become better, so that when the time comes for them to get a job, and you know, these online coding academies are doing a subset of it, but that's a very small subset. There is massive potential. Maybe it's a different business model, but I think we need to do. The companies should focus on, or make sure you have a skin in the game. So if you have a skin in the game in making sure that people get better, and you are making them equipped for the new kinds of jobs that will come, because you know there will be a transformational shift now. So I think that would be very, very good. If you can empower somebody who, let's say, takes a course, or somebody who uses your product and becomes better, and they can earn money, or they can do something. I think it's a very vague idea, but probably.
No, but I get the sense what you're saying. But traditionally, if you look at the companies that have got invested, or if you look at education in India per se and digital education now, is that it's more centered around certification. It's more centered around getting a job. It's more centered around a very clear, defined outcome. So I want to ask you, how do you see that changing? And one question which is very personal to me, and I'm asking you, is, learning for the learning's sake. Do you think that people in India are going to be, and will there be value in that? And will people pay just learning for pure learning? Like, I want to do a class just to be a better storyteller, that. So I'm asking.
But you want to be a storyteller. So that's not just learning for learning's sake. You have a clearly defined learning outcome that you want to be a storyteller.
Yeah, so, but it's not certification or exam nahi pass karna hai. Mujhe a job nahi chahiye mujhe. Because if you see most of the edtechs, and if you talk to the investors also, right, the clear question for them is, what's the outcome? So in education, will it continue to be very outcome based?
See, Masterclass is doing $80 million of annual revenue now in US.
Yeah.
Outcome based.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know the correct answer to it. We were not outcome based for the first 3 years. We were just posting videos. We were a platform, and people could create stuff. So I do think there needs to be some objective that, hey, I'll learn English, or I'll learn guitar, or something like that. And when you have that, then I will long on the fact that if people want to do something, and if you give them, that's fine. But just learning for learning's sake, like you have a Netflix kind of a platform where people are going to just learn, I think that will not happen. If you want to be a storyteller, then probably what you will do is you will go to Masterclass and you will take J.K. Rowling's course.
Yeah.
I think that might happen. I think few companies are trying to do that. I think at some point we will also get into that market. I think this was the Virat and Anushka experiments have shown us that huge potential. When Mr. Shashi Tharoor took his classes, a lot of people came.
What did he teach?
I need to check, but
that was not a trick question. I was just very curious. What did Shashi Tharoor teach? Was it on writing?
I think it's experiences with United Nations. I remember one class, but
my college senior.
I've been a backbencher throughout my life. So attending classes.
Don't cover up. You had Shashi Tharoor and you don't know what he taught. Okay.
No, I have a brilliant team. I think it's not an individual effort at all. I owe all the success of an academy to the strong team we have and the strong team members we have. I think they do a phenomenal job in executing.
Yeah, yeah. So tell me something now. If you had to say, and then in the post-COVID world, right? Let's imagine now things are opening and things will hopefully go to normal, and but not anytime soon. How are you going to see? Like, there's so many students who are affected this year, right? Like so many students across different spectrums who've been affected this year. How are you going to, if you had to say, there are certain things that you will see changing in the edtech space, you will see in the behavior changing in the behavior. What are some of the things that one you are looking from your lens will change?
I think schools and offline institutes will not open till September, October. So I think schools will need to quickly start using tools like Zoom, Microsoft Teams, etc., and they'll need to adapt. I think even if they open, maybe like how offices are opening 20% occupancy on day one or something like that. So I think one transformative change would be that remote work and remote learning, both in some places they will completely substitute offline, but in most places it will be a combination of both. Companies will embrace remote work more and more. Students will embrace remote learning more and more, online education more and more. So I think it's a combination of both, but I don't think offline will go away anytime soon. I
Yeah,
I think especially in the K-12 market, schools are needed for the overall development of the students, etc. Or if there is a hybrid model where students are coming to school for 2 days, maybe all classes are just for socializing or for debates or for engaging stuff, and the learning happens online. I think that is also possible. So I mean, if I were to build a school today, I would build it like that.
yeah. And I wanted to ask you this. I'm taking the liberty of asking because I've known you closely, that how you always think forward and you're thinking of the next step. With time, and the place that you are in, and especially during the lockdown, how have you looked at your own, if you had to look at your own decision making as a leader, as a young entrepreneur, how have you taken decisions? What are some of the things that you factor in while taking some of the major decisions in your venture?
Yeah, I mean, you protect the downside. Maybe if you're taking a bold bet, it cannot be a risk that the 100% of the company will go away. Maybe 15-20% is fine as long as the upside is maybe 20x 30x. So I think that's one thing. Raise money, but also remember, see, we have always raised money beforehand, but I look at venture capitalists as founders. So when you have that mindset, if you are getting an angel, so angel is fine, but if you're getting an involved VC on your cap table, imagine like you're getting a founder. So if you have the privilege to choose, go with lower valuation, but somebody who makes you feel like a founder.
Yeah.
But if you don't have the privilege to choose, then just take the money. Just take the money, and I mean, I always have this belief, and sometimes people in my team uh, don't like it, but I always tell them to not focus on low hanging fruits ever. I just tell them to focus on high hanging fruits. So what happens is that when the times are good, we focus on high hanging fruits, and when we hit a slump or something bad happens, then I say, okay, in this time to get out of it, we can focus on low hanging fruits because it's so easy. See,
Yeah.
right now, if you have solved the hard problems. So I think always, whether in personal life, professional life, take uh, choose the option which is more difficult, even if it doesn't make any sense. So I'm not sure if I make any sense, but
Oh, I get what you're saying. So now, and that brings me to my next question, which I had asked you last time, and I'm going to ask you to repeat this again. And I'm sure you'll have, you will be as honest as ever on this. Is that, one of the things which, and this is for the benefit of everyone today in the market, because there's such a gloom that, oh, there's no investment going to happen, fundings are going to slow down. One of the things, Gaurav, you've done remarkably is raise capital. You've got some very good investors from early on, and consistently you've managed to do that, right? And so tell us, how have you, like, and that we want very, not the answers which we both would have heard from others, but what are some of the things that you did right? Because I know that I have always seen you as an extremely very, very confident guy, right? So I've never seen you not, like, matlab फट भी रही होगी तो confidence मतलब arrogance या confidence है, that's debatable, but confidence हमारे हमेशा रहा है. But tell us, what did you do here for all the people who would like to raise money?
So, I mean, I've gone through some very, very tough phases throughout, but I think what I did was that I think this applies for most people, that you cannot give up. I think like Bhavin, I worked at Directai for 1 year, and then I didn't know Bhavin that well. I'd met him 1 or 2 times in office, but I really wanted to get him on board as an individual director, independent director on our board. I must have sent him 25 messages before he gave me a 15-minute meeting. And out of those 25 messages, he must have not replied to 50%. And to the other 50%, he would have replied with, "I'm busy." So I think that's probably the summary of the story, that you can extrapolate it, that if that applies to Bhavin, that I've done that with everyone, is that...
and I want to jet in. That's very, I've always found it very interesting about you. There's a very good sense of humility and self-effacing. मतलब अपने आप को उतना हीरो नहीं लेना कि लिखते रहना, and a little bit of shamelessness in that. And then there's this huge, amazing confidence which borders on arrogance, by the way, when you respond to some of the things. So that it's very...
I mean, like, we have a lot of educators of Unacademy and our employees from our team also watching, etc. So I also want to say that, when people are looking up to you, it's not like I'm just saying for the sake of it that we are better. We are significantly better, and that gives me the confidence to say it. And my team members or my educators who are watching this, I see so many names right now, they get pumped up. So it's more, and see, if I had to take the risk of sounding arrogant, but the upside is that my team is more motivated, I think that's fine. But see, I think we are...
I'm just saying that there's a acute, but I see a very humble, very, very humble, very, very, I know you closely, so I will have a little bias, because I see you for the humility also, and for genuineness. And then there is this other side, which is also like, okay, we are the best in the market, no competitor comes close to us. So keeping that...
when I was a kid, I saw this movie Guru. There is this dialogue by this character Abhishek Bachchan, who's playing Dhirubhai Ambani, was that he did whatever it takes to get something done. Jahan laat marni hai, wahan laat mari. Jahan sar jhukana hai, wahan sar jhukaya. But he got it done.
Yeah.
I mean, if sometimes you have to push people to get something done, or if sometimes you have to be very respectful to get something done. Like, see, I had to, some of the investors I had to chase for years before SAF partners were looking at us from day one of starting up. They finally came during Series B. They had said no multiple times, but I didn't take it to my ego. I didn't think, though, they have rejected me. Even when we were raising the Series B round, I called them up. I said that, guys, we are raising a round. Would you be interested? They evaluated. And I think it's a very interesting story I've never told anyone. So SAF partners, during the Series B investment, the valuation that we were asking was high, and Sequoia had agreed to that valuation. And SAF partners were very, very excited, etc. At the last moment, they said, this valuation might not work for us. And they thought that I would react badly on the call and etc. I said, and because I had spent a lot of time with them, and it was the final stage of signing the term sheet. And I said, it's okay. I said that hopefully we'll partner together in the future. And I was surprised because that's, what they said. They said, I mean, we are surprised at your reaction because they said, okay, give us 10 minutes. And then, and this is like when they have said no. So 10 minutes later, they are like, oh, can you come to Leela Palace? We want to do a meeting. And there they brought the term sheet. Obviously, valuation numbers were negotiated upon, but they went from no to yes just because I didn't take it personally. See, you don't have to take it personally. Every leadership person or every investor that I meet, even if sometimes I feel like abusing them because of what they did, I don't do it because it's a small world. You have to see that others might have certain situations, other might have certain circumstances, and it's not their call in most of the cases. In most of the cases, they have their LPs who they are responsible to. So why do you have to take it personally? I mean, they are doing their job, you are doing their job. Tomorrow you can start something, you can go to them again. Why do you have to take it personally? I mean, ego and business don't go hand in hand. So don't be.
But I've seen you demonstrate that time and again since I've known you in 2014. Yeah, that's something I can say that I've seen that, and I respect that about you, Gaurav Munjal, and what a phenomenal journey, business that you're building with an academy. Last, before we go, I can continue talking to you because it is, it doesn't feel like people are watching when we are chatting. But last, if I have to ask you, as a young entrepreneur in this country, and we are in very tough times, if you had to say that, these are some of the things that, and it could, I'm not putting you in a spot, but what are some of the things that you're thinking of doing for India in this time, in this uncertain times? Are there some plans? Are there some things that you're thinking of giving more at this time to the country?
So I think all of our founders have personally given a significant donation to the PM Cares Fund. What we are also doing is that we are working very, very hard because we are one of the companies which is not impacted by this. So we have plans to hire 500 people in the next 2 months. So I think we are creating jobs that way. I have personally not stopped angel investing. So I'm encouraging more and more founders to keep starting companies, etc. It's just that certain circumstances have changed. So people will need to rethink their strategies, and some markets might not be viable, like the travel market, etc. But we are doing everything we can. We could have stopped appraisals, and we could have told everyone. We could have used the excuse that the market is bad. But I mean, our revenues were growing. So I think you should not be bad just for the sake of being bad, because at the end of the day, companies are built by teams. You need to respect that. So I think whether it's hiring talent, whether it's donating to charity, whether it's making sure that we are creating more jobs, whether it's personally mentoring other entrepreneurs and helping them, we are doing everything. Or this talk, I don't usually give talks at all, but I think in the last 1 month I have given 3 talks, 2 by you, and one Mr. Sunil Kant Munjal of Hero Group had organized a session and stuff like that. So I think if I realize that the topic is interesting and I can give back to the community, we are doing that. So I think whatever is in my capacity, we are doing, and we encourage. The only thing I want to tell everyone is that unlearn what you already know and try to learn what you need to change. Economy will come back, things will get back to normal. It's just that the new world will be a different world. So the sooner you adapt to it, and the sooner you know that this might not be temporary, maybe this is temporary, but see, there is no downside of assuming that this is not temporary. Because if you unlearn and if you learn new things that are anyway going to help, whether it's temporary or not, then they might give you an edge. So there is no downside to think that this is permanent. That means you will not be biased. You will not. So before we go all in, once we know this is it. But when we are in 2 states that, hey, this is temporary, etc., we always keep procrastinating and saying that let's wait for 2 months and something like that. Just assume that this is it. It might benefit you more than not assuming, and there is no downside of assuming that this is it.
Gaurav, thank you. This is very, very good. Hoping that soon we will hear, beginning of this session, you said all your numbers in Money Matters, you've gone on record to say all your numbers have grown 3x. We hope your valuation grows 3x and we get to chat to you in the next 2-3 months soon. Thank you. All the very best. It's a great pleasure to be talking to you.